I think firstly I'd like to say something about there's in general when we understand when you follow the Buddhist path, or you could say the Buddhist way. Firstly, what does it mean by the Buddhist path? Okay, when we say the path, it's definitely the first thing always come to our mind is the Four Noble Truth. Okay, in the Four Noble Truth, that's what we call the universal kind of law. And that is one of the most important universal law perhaps in Buddhism, because it's the law that believes that you could really eradicate your suffering, okay? Including the way that you eradicate your defilement so that you will not have any cause to be reborn again, like that. So then you know that in Four Noble Truths you have the truth of what we call the dukkha, or you might understand as suffering, you might understand as kind of like unsatisfactory. So through meditation, or you could say contemplation, or kind of when you have focused mind, then you would focus the things or the phenomena without any distraction. Then you could contemplate the phenomena clearly, or you could say objectively, without any interference. Then you understand actually everything just based on a conditionality conduce you have no choice, kind of like. So we always think that we have choice. Yeah, in many ways we do have choice. You do have choice in a way, I mean your mind could make any choice. But like a physical, you don't have choice because in Buddhist understanding, like you are getting old, you are getting deteriorated, and also one day we have to face to dying also, and so forth. Those are something that even how long you try to prolong your life, but ultimately there's no choice for that. That's what itself is unsatisfactory. But mostly very hard for us to look at that because in our life, when the day we were born, we learned how to live, and we learned how to find a meaning in our life. You know, that's actually is the nature of as a human too. Not only human, actually it's the nature as any living things. But in terms of wisdom, I mean understanding the life, you cannot just because to understanding the life you cannot just based on what given you or what is there. But there must be something more that we able to look at whatever we have, or look at whatever the circumstance you have, or whatever the environment is about, but you have to look beyond that even too, okay? That is what we call, once you understand the reality of what is go beyond, or what is really right there, nothing will stay forever, and nothing will stay the way that you always expect it to be. So then it's kind of remove you from your craving. In our what we call craving, you could say you're grasping on what it should be. Now it could be grasping on your view. You could grasping on the thing that you desire for, and so forth. So those are what we call the truth of the cause. And then, as far as if you understand what is the cause, or as far as you see what are the cause are they, then the cause will just dissipate or cease to be. Then you understand the path. So in other words, when you follow the Buddhist path, that's how generally we say the path as the path that will lead you to the cessation of the suffering, or you could say the cessation of the unsatisfactory. That cessation itself is not something that you are changing anything material, but it's actually is the realization. Through that realization, you come to the vision of the cessation. Okay. Then also the path or the way also understand as kind of process too. When we understand as a process, let's say you are coming to do meditation, so in other words, you are following a way, and you are following a process. With the process, normally you have to traditionally you have to accomplish 4 things first. Okay, but you have to accomplish 4 things in order able to come to the point of realization. The first thing is that you will be able to associate teachers, or usually we don't say teacher, actually the original term is mean good friends. Okay, you're able to associate the good friends, what we call a kalyana mitta, and then good friends have a certain quality. Okay, for example, the good friend has to be no pride, and the good friend has to be always when they talk to you, always with a loving kind of smile, and then the good friend is always very humble, and then the good friend is always not not boasting themselves and so forth. I mean, actually, that's always mentioned in the Buddhist text. That good friend refer to maybe nowadays you could say the monks, maybe you could say the mentors. It can be just your colleague, I mean not colleague, what do you call peers, they're your peers. That all who are interested in doing meditation, for example, they are their peers. And the good friends, what we call kalyana mitta, it actually is crucially important. It's the same thing like if you go to college, you go to university, when you go to study. So whom the friend you associate, it does influence your way of your study too, right? So I'm sure there's the same thing if you're into business or if you're into any area. So if you do find a good partner, good peers, at least friends that sometimes when you have a little break that you could talk about certain thing, they might give you some direction, they might introduce somebody to you and so forth. That's what we call the good friends. That will helping you improve for your progression of your practices. Okay, that is the kalyana mitta. Remember that because I said that actually the original way of thinking about when you say a monk, because a monk restricted to mean he followed a certain ordained rule and then they stay in a temple and they have their own life, that's called a monk. But when you say that I want to associate good friend, that means the good friend must have those qualities. Okay, it's different from when you say a monk and when you say a teacher. In other words, when you say a good friend, those who helping. Actually, at one time, Ananda once, so somehow he asked the Buddha, he said, Buddha, what do you think about a kalyana mitta, mean a good friend? How important that would be? If I'm not remember wrong, then the Buddha actually did ask Ananda, what do you think that a good friend would be? And then he say, in other words, how do you think that, how important a good friend that would be? And then the Ananda replied, yeah, it's really for a spirituality, for spiritual practices, a good friend might serve half important, okay, in the spiritual practice. But actually he been corrected, Ananda been corrected by the Buddha, saying that, no, that was wrong. You cannot consider a good friend just might be helping your progression in your spiritual halfway. Actually, they are helping you for your full way. Okay. So, in other words, you are practicing meditation. Maybe say that you're practicing this. I think it's one of the what we call the universal technique. That actually not I said. It's the path of purification. Refer that. Brahma Vihara, or meditation on the loving kindness, compassion, and joy and equanimity, actually serve as one of the universal methods. Almost like everybody have to practices. So and these practices, then also what help you to retain or help you to continue is that you need to have good friends. In other words, that they will talk to you, that they will give you some encouragement, and they might be telling you, oh, sometimes when I practice also, I also face certain difficulty, and it happens in our life. When the way that you want to walk in the higher, more more challenging, then you definitely meet some difficulty. Then maybe some other friends, okay, they have a similar situation, they will definitely give you a good point to look at it. So that's what the good friend is about. I want to say this this is also one reason why in the evening, normally in the meditation center, they don't do that. Like at night, they ask you to sit together and talk like that, But I think that would be good actually. People have to know each other. Not that you will keep in contact, I don't know. But at least you will know each other. And somehow, and also sometimes you do share your understanding, share your problem, or also without hesitating, you like to say something, at least in your head, you are not, okay? And it's very important. A community, when I say community, I don't mean that you set up any really strict community in a sense, but a community means that when people are actually having a time to practice a good quality mind together, you must also understand it is also a time you need to solve whatever the community conflict, okay? I believe that when people are really doing meditation here in general, and I also do not judge people just by one time and two times. So definitely come with a good mind, okay? But not necessarily everybody's behavior is agree with the other person. So, but this is also why you have to really put this kind of practice in there. But I always joke with the people. Now, for example, I'm a monk. Normally, a lot of people asking me about even young people or even people want to divorce. They say, do you think I should divorce? Okay. And also people, maybe they said, oh, I'm thinking about marriage, and they ask me all these sort of questions. Sometimes even including the parents, kind of like, I had to be their, what to call, I don't know, I forgot the English term. It's kind of like persons, have you seen that girl? My son like her. Do you think she is good? Like that, So kind of this thing happen too, What I'm saying that is, it's important for me. I mean, because this is just my perspective. Because as I'm a monastic monk, I may have a certain value in my mind, but it doesn't mean that I have to put my value onto other persons. Get it now, right? For example, if I were really like a, what do you call, tyrant, like a high-handle person, what is that called? Tyrant, yeah, tyrant. Thank you. Like a tyrant. If I am a tyrant, then I will always telling you, you all are stupid people sitting here. You don't shave your hair like that, But it's not true. You see, everybody have their life, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and in other words, I want to say, in the strict sense, I may not agree the lifestyle you have, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's just everyone is different. People choose their own lifestyle, The same thing, I also face a lot of problems, especially when I look younger. When I was 30 years old, and even when I was 40 years old, because I look younger sometimes, I've been abused by a lot of other religions. They are, really many times. Sometimes some people sit next to me in the airplane, they look at me like that. Like I'm really a monster just sitting next to him, like that. Because I have those suffered before, so I definitely understand. I don't, maybe I not agree with some other people behavior, sort of way, reaction, but I don't hold that because I knew this is just purely opinions. We may have proof. For example, some very fanatic like a Muslim and Christian, they have proof, right? I'm wrong because according to their text, I am wrong, right? But what does mean by that proof? Because we are human. So even though he might think I was wrong, but I'm not killing people. I'm not murdering him. I'm not murdering anybody. And even in any religion say the same. Even people committed a crime, but might be because they was some whatever reason. We don't allow these people having the bad evil mind, but we still forgive the people when they really make the mistake, right? Am I right? I think all religions kind of saying that same way. So, I mean, if that was the case, why we cannot forgive the people even while they're in a meditation, might be some reaction not necessarily agree with your mind, right? So I'm saying this a lot because just want to say, when we say the good friends in a way, not sometimes just because you're looking for the good friend, but actually you also must learn how to be a good friend to the others. That you must have the forgiving mind, so that people, actually this, I always believe everybody is very smart. Everybody's eye is very clear. So if I have any reaction, if I have any unreasonable reaction towards something, I'm sure people can see it, you know. In other words, the people also know whether that person can be my good friend or not. So, you know, judging is not just one side. Judging is always both sides. Get it now? So judging is always like that. So, I mean, if we are practicing the force of law-abiding, to remember that you also must learn that you want to, it's not just because you're practicing it, but you also wish that sometime the practice, that practice itself will help you to be useful for the other. In other words, not useful, how to use it, to be helpful for the others, you know. So that means a good friend means also. Okay, the other thing is that even though if you have able to associate a good friend, you are not going to bother them too much. Like, you know, when we learn meditation, as one of the example, you don't ask the teacher a question, same thing again and again and again and again and again and again, right? And you know, so that's why, and in the Buddhist sutra, the text, they have certain advices that, you know, normally when you see, when you are asking, particularly when you're asking the meditation method, you know, you just ask the method, of course, and then of course before that you definitely might have the respect mind. I don't mean the respect mind, you know, some people they just maybe showing there's an action. No, it's just really you have a respect mind because you really want to learn something, right? And I think this is sometimes we do lack. I'm talking about not only in the Buddhist circle, it could be even in a school also. So, ready, right? Maybe in a normal like a school, when you want to ask a teacher certain thing. Why I want to say that, because when I was in university, you do see some student actually, they want to consult the teacher. They might be just thinking, I want to pass, that's it, you know. They're not really thinking about, you know, fine, you want to pass your exam, but you still have a way to know. Your purpose is not just to pass exam. You definitely, you know, need it to know the subject in order to get to pass the you know the paper or whatever. You want to get an A or B. So then, because why we say that, because there's a lot of joke among that. Usually when we have a conference together, the professor always tell me some joke about how the student nowadays especially, they come to see me. They always make different kind of story. There's no respect there, you know. And of course, the professor, they say, I was a student. I know what kind of trick you can use also, you know, because that's pretty normal, you know, as a student. But, you know, at least there was kind of respect, you know, I'm wrong in certain thing. Could you help me, you know, I will change and so forth. Like, that's kind of respect. So the same thing when you, in the future, when you have able to, you know, associate with the teacher, then you remember you have firstly to ask the teacher about the subject matter, I mean the meditation method, and then with the method also you must know, also asking, you know, clearly how you should approach, how should you practice the method, and then the other thing you don't have to ask too much unless you are come to the point. For example, when you practice this force of abiding, then maybe a teacher say, okay, when the time that the limit that will appear, you will see some sight around and so forth, then you know perhaps something is there. Then you just will somehow understand the nature, what is the nimitta is about, the sight is about when you meditate, and then that's it. You are not going to ask, what is after the sight? And then, okay, then if you have the sight, then what if, and you don't ask really too much like that. Because, anyway, I mean, there are many reasons, but then usually this has been instructed, that you just ask up to the sight, and then when you go back, when you practice, and when you have the sight, and then you know that, okay, now I might be here, I might not be here, but anyway, somehow you think you are there. Then you go to meet your good friend again. Say, I do have the sign. I'm not sure whether that was a sign, but it's something like that. So what could I do in further, and so forth. Okay. So that's maybe this sounds very simple to some of your guys, but trust me, not necessarily simple to everybody. Sometimes people, when they come to ask a meditation, then when they just ask a meditation, then they talk like the whole thing in their life. No, I'm sure some know, the whole thing in their life, then the subject is gone away. And of course, if we are having the, kind of like, having the meal together, we can talk the whole life, I don't know, the whole world, who is going to be a president, whatever, and so forth. But, when you're doing meditation, when you are really just focused on, when you have a good friend with you and just focus on the meditation subject, a technique, you can just only, those are the thing, you ask about, okay. Okay, that's what we call associate to the well friend, what we call Sappurisa Bhajayasa in Pali. I mean, you associate with the good friends, and then you must also know how to respect the good friend, as well as that what kind of question you can ask. And in other words, you could say, try not to make the good friend trouble. Okay, actually they do. In Pali way, you're saying, don't make him trouble. So the trouble means sometimes you ask so much that he feel really angry also. Okay, and then what we call the next one is called the Satamasa Sosasi. Okay, it means that then just like now, if you have those occasions, then please listen to the Dhamma often. Okay, because just like if you are in the business, you got to listen to other people's opinions about the business, how they do, how they be successful in their business. If you are like athlete, for example, then you do talk to about why these people can play so well and so forth. Maybe that person got injured, and after injury, why he could recover, what kind of doctor he met. Even looks like very petty kind of information, but for the athlete is very important, right? Like that. The same thing is when you are really into spirituality or in the practice of meditation, then also try to listen to that subject that relate to this more often. Not necessarily that you are always agree with everything, I'm saying, but then you definitely need try to get more information. In other words, by absorbing the other opinions or other experience, always helpful for your practices. Okay, that's why we say the second mean satamaha. That means you are really associate the right Dhamma. You have to try to listen more about the right Dhamma. And the third, which is actually is my main subject now, is that then you must know, have to be always contemplate. Actually, Chinese say 善思维, but a lot of people take that wrongly. They think 善思维 means after when you listen to the Dhamma, you are sitting and try to pondering rightly. Actually, no. In Pali, it doesn't take that way. Okay, in Pali, the 善思维 is called mana sikaroti. Okay, in other words, mean you have to, after listen to the good Dhamma, do remember the first one when you associate the teacher, you learn the method already. Okay, and then you listen to whatever kind of philosophical question and Dhamma and teachings, right, if you have the time. And the third is not ask you to pondering, 善思维, because Chinese the way 思维, actually here is called, you could translate as 善作意 in Chinese. It means you must learn how to shift your mind, contemplate correctly. Correctly. For example, because please learn the Dhamma, not look at the word, but you have to look at the whole context. For example, like now, you might be learning, you're learning this for 6 days already. 5th day, now this is 6 days. You're learning the loving kindness and compassion and joy and equanimity meditation. At least somehow you manage the method, okay? Just say in a humble way, okay? Maybe you're very good, but anyway, you know what I mean. You handle that. Now you're sitting there, you're doing quite all right. And then we talk about that when you meditate, you might have a nimitta appear, the light appear. If your mind will be able to subdue somehow the defilements, then the light will appear and so forth. Okay, you might be appear a little bit, sometimes a little bright, sometimes not bright, sometimes just a little dim there, so forth and this. Now you come to that what we call the manasikati. It means you must learn how to pay attention correctly. What does it mean? It means you have those situations, your mind is fine. Now you come to a stage that really have to, you still know your mind sometimes thinking something else, sleepy, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're doing nice, you sit there nicely, but it still might have a very subtle way, like kind of sometimes you feel the body is not, you feel like the body is a little uncomfortable, so you're a bit disturbed because of body condition sometimes. So you do have those slight thing going on. Then this is what we call actually the subject of mean have the correct paying attention. Okay. Now then that will refer into 5 ways. Now of course there are so many advices by the Buddha, though I will take one of the sutta. It's called this Atta Citta, the Zhen San Xin Jing, okay, in Chinese. So it's from a sutta called Atta Citta. Right? Basically, saying that, let's say when you're sitting there, you observe you have this kind of very slight disturbance or distraction. The distraction could be many types, right? But how you should deal with it, you have to learn that. Okay, this is what we call paying the right attention. Okay, in other words, how you manage your mind to do something correctly, something like that. You could go there. Okay. Now, how do you manage it? That definitely you need a kind of teaching. The teaching is first, say that, like what you're learning. When I'm sitting, my mind, I'm doing fine, very calm. Everything is doing fine. However, my mind still somehow thinking, tomorrow is going to finish. Where should I go to restaurant? Which restaurant I should go? And then, what should I do at home? Or I would be very happy to see who, and so forth, right? And like I say, there's this kind of thing. Then, of course, one way you learn already, the way that I said, when you find you have distraction, not that the distraction was wrong, it's just because it's not what you're going to do now, then you just aware of it, and then you change it, right? Remember? Change it to what? Change it to your meditation object. So this meditation object, say that you do equanimity, then you change it to equanimity. Okay? If you are doing tomorrow actually I'm teaching you doing a little bit visualize the Buddha, because we are going to the Buddha hall in the morning. I think the Buddha up there is really marvelous, so you should take that advantage, to visualize Buddha. So say that if you're doing a visualize the Buddha, then you just visualize the Buddha and so forth like that, because that's your meditation object. So you just have to, and you find that your thought comes around comes about, not what you are doing, then just convert it into what you are doing, right? This is the first one. So, of course, in the tradition, there's a simile. The simile is like, I don't know much about what does it mean, because I am not a carpenter, and especially the old way of carpenter. He said, just like people, as a carpenter, when he have to cut something, he want to arrange something, he need to use the thread, to kind of like put the thread to know whether the thing is in a line. I understand what does it mean, but I really don't know, because I don't do the carpenter, so what that really mean. Anyway, I just know, in other words, mean, you need to know something wrong, then you need to make it straight, somehow like that. You use the thread. So somehow it's like this, mean if you have distraction, when the distraction comes to you about you, then you need to use your own meditation object like a thread to correct it back. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So that's the first one. And then, but you know that sometimes it doesn't work too. Have you ever faced that problem? Yeah, you say, I want to correct it, but it's somehow my distraction is so strong or whatever. I mean, there's many subtle reasons. and it just carried me away, even though you're doing quite okay. Actually, I'm referring to this, strictly speaking, when I'm saying this about have a correct paying attention, it's not on the normal state, just like first day you're doing meditation, there are so many, not that state. That state is actually you're almost out of control, I'm talking about now you're doing quite okay, but somehow there's a subtle thing still around, that kind of stage. When that, that when there's so many that they still carry away, then you must remember the second way. The second way is that you have to look at those things comes to you really repulsive, okay? Really like, I don't want it, kind of like repulsive. So, and I think, for example, normally, of course, those distractions comes to you become a habit. Even though you're doing fine, you subdue your mind quite all right. But in a subtle way, they still come around, right? Then you must somehow learn like a repulsive, that's really, I never know it's so disturbing, Then you do it, you must have that kind of strong. I don't mean that you are angry, but it's like, like this, So then you might be able to put away that very subtle, those the distraction. So, and also very beautiful simile might help you, even you don't remember, you might remember the simile. And from the sutta, the simile is saying that just like a blind person, because a blind person, he never see anything. From one day he was blind, and somebody gave him a corpse of the dog. Okay, the corpse of the dog, and have the fur, it's kind of like a fur, and told him that actually you are wearing the most beautiful necklace. I'm not necklace. 围巾叫什么? Scarf. Sorry, the scarf. A most beautiful scarf around your neck, and of course he's just wearing that. Actually, those are the fur from the dead dog. Okay, and he thought, okay, I'm so beautiful. I have during the winter time, I have the more beautiful scar, right? And because he's blind, he doesn't know. Then somehow his eye, he can open the eye and see it. When he saw, actually, this is not the scarf. It's really the skin of the dead dog. Kind of like not well. Then what he would do? Immediately throw that away, right? So, and then the Buddha say the same thing. What does it mean by when you have to correct paying attention? Is then you must aware those slight thoughts come to you that. You also, when the first one you want to use the thread to correct it, doesn't work for you, then throw that away. Just throw that away. Okay. All right, but however, unfortunately, not that all the time it works. So, if it not working, even sometimes you might be obsessed with a certain idea. Maybe it come in and go, obsessed with an idea. So you're still not able to throw that away by trying to feel like, don't disturb me, right? You don't have that. Still you have no power to throw that away. Then you must come to the third one. Okay. And the third way is that, let me see, I just want to see the simile. Yeah, actually the third way is like, I say the simile first. That way is almost like, when you learn this meditation, this is what the text say, right? When you see the light, right, you also see the color. Remember, some people told me, I see the light and see the color. And I always tell them, don't pay attention to the light. Just like you switch on the light, right? You don't do that. Right? You get hurt. The reason why you switch on the light, why? Because you want to see this, right? It's kind of like they have the purpose of that. You are not switch on the light to see the light, Okay, so like you meditate, when that defilements and more or less been subdued, the light appears. Actually, I'm not saying about you. Even I did that in the past. Even teacher told me, don't look. We are the mischief children. We still look. And then there was a time, many days I did it. Big, small, big, small. And also, if I was not very lucky like you. I mean, in those days, it's very hard to meet teacher. When you have a chance, you meet a teacher. And then also, you cannot just meet the teacher. I have a question to ask you. It's not polite, right? You have to first, hi, how are you doing? And when you see the teacher is fine, he's very relaxed and sitting, then you ask question, right? So, and then for a few days, I was doing this lie, because one thing is I didn't learn Dharma good enough. And the other thing is also, of course, I still mischief. I thought, the bigger lie, the stronger lie, the powerful lie is the better. That's how. Even though our teacher told me don't look at the light, but I forget that word, And I always, my eyes so irritated after some time because all the time lie, this lie, that lie. Anyway. So, but then, like that, he said in the text, So he say, when the light is there, when the color is there, you learn how to ignore it. Get it now? That's actually the simile. This text, the Buddhist Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya actually, but in Pali, in Chinese, in Zhengshan, I think it's in Chinese, it's in, I don't know. I was looking for the Pali one. It's Majjhima Nikaya, okay, in the Middle Length Discourse. So, 中部在中部里面. So that text actually say that just like when you learn how to ignore the light and color. So when those little defilements comes to you, distraction comes to you, ignore it, like ignore the light and color. Remember? Okay? So that's the third way. Get it now? I repeat again. First one, just like you usually do it. Shift it back to your meditation object, right? Because that is a good one. And the other one is not serve your purpose. The second, so you have to find that they are really horrible, okay? Just like a blind people, wearing something, a corpse on their body, they don't know, only unless they open the eyes. And the third one, you have to learn to ignore it. Even though it's there, just ignore it, okay? Get it now? Okay, or other simile simple, like, you go to a certain occasion, so, and then the people are there. So someone you really don't want to meet, but it's there, then you have to learn like he's transparent, right? Like that. So ignore it that way. And the fourth one, but that also that also not necessarily will also solve the problem. So when you come to the fourth one, so if the above three type, the way you're trying is not working, so what you should do? Actually, interesting. So if you find the above three way, it doesn't work for you, then you still need to keep your mind, Actually, manasikara means you need to work your mind, okay, correctly. So that's the word manasikara. Chinese translate 作意作意 就是 you need to work your mind correctly. In what way? Now you slow down your thought, okay? Say that. You know that, now I'm thinking this, now, my mind still thinking about, let's say, my mind still thinking about that one issue. For example, maybe the issue is that someone just told you, when you leave, you are the one who clean all the place, okay? You are not very happy, but that's still, your mind become obsessed with the idea. It's still very hard to put it away. You know that you're thinking it already. And it come maybe then other issue is like your home issue. I always clean at home. Why I want to clean here? Like so link it together. So then learn to slow down your thinking. Okay, no. You never learn. You never slow down your thinking.
What do you mean slow down your thinking? While you're doing meditation or concentrating, you're not supposed to think.
No, that's why I interpret. That's why I define the word again. The word paying attention. The original word is called manasikara. Manas means yi in Chinese. Okay, it means your mind. Okay. Kara means work on it. For example, you're paying attention is also your work on your mind towards anything, right? Okay, let me see. Let's say you try to focus the meditation object, and then your mind still, really obsessed with one topic there. To slow down, I mean, of course, you should say you are still doing meditation because while doing meditation, when I say meditation, I don't mean that time you really focus what you're doing, but you're still doing meditation. But you know that when you're trying to focus, the drowsiness comes to you. It's almost like two things comes together, right? Get it now? The same thing, when you're focused on the objects, and then the obsessed idea is still there, and you need to learn not to let the obsessed idea go so fast. And I don't mean run so fast, just think it slowly.
Do not push.
Do not push, what does it mean, do not push?
Do not put too much strength.
No, actually you do pay attention on your distraction already, but you just want to slow down the thought process. Okay.
How do you slow it down?
Huh?
How do you slow it down?
What do you mean the slowing down refers to the speed?
I can only get rid of it, but I cannot slow it down.
No, the condition, of course, the first three methods, it doesn't work for you, right? And then, I mean, this is very important. In other words, mean you are clear what you're doing, your distraction there already. Okay. Maybe let me think. Okay, one important, simple subject is say that you sit there, you start to think about beautiful girl.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, that's easier to say. Okay. I think actually I have so many things to talk. I was thinking to talk about jhana. We don't have time, and maybe I always have an excuse say next time. I don't know when. But anyway, I think this is a very basic understanding. I won't say basic. It's really rudiment, a very important understanding that when you're learning Dhamma, in other words, mean also learning practice meditation. Okay. I will give you a few minutes if anyone have any questions first. Yeah. Then I have a chance to drink some water also. Yes.
就是您刚才说的那个修所成智，怎么区分修所成智和打坐之中被产生走神儿？
我刚才已经跟你讲走神的事了。
但是就如果是修所成智，修的时候想到了以前学这个东西，这不算走神吗？
其实呢，我刚才也是解释说，当我们讲到这个善思维的时候，或者善作意的时候，这已经不是一般你刚刚开始坐下来讲胡思乱想这个阶段，对不对？那个已经是很粗的阶段，他只是讲说你已经做得还不错，但是还是有一些细微的想法在那边，是讲的是这个阶段。Yes.
I still try to apply what you say to the physical discomfort. So if you really feel the left hand or shoulder hand, how do you kind of slow it down and knock it off?
No, but if you have the physical pain, of course you need to move your body, but you do not let your mind to obsess with your physical body. Right? But if you say you have a physical pain and you remove your body, but if you discover that it's because of like you do have unpleasant sensation, you should change your unpleasant sensation. But you don't have to keep on looking at your physical pain. But you have changed your posture already. Supposedly, at least at that moment when you change your posture, the very moment you have relief from the pain already, right? But your mind could be upset with the pain and get fear, get disturbed. Then that's how the topic is related to. Then when that disturbed, become obsessed, right? First thing you just back to. If you're meditating on the breath, then you need to back to the breath, right? If you're meditating on the Buddha, you have to contemplate the Buddha. But now if you're doing the compassion, maybe you're doing equanimity, you cannot work with that, it's difficult. Then you do loving kindness, like may I be free from anger, may I be free from anxiety, to remove that, right? That means you're applying the first way. Say that that's what we call, and then if that doesn't work, you need to really feel like, why I'm so stupid, why I don't like this. Whenever I feel the pain, I've been disturbed, right? You don't get angry, you just really feel like this kind of disturbed so many times, kind of like, you know it's how to say, you know it's kind of like a stand on your face, right? Like a stand on your face, so you just want to remove it. Yeah, it's like when you have the dirt on your face, you just want to, remove it immediately. So and then you just remove it, just like when you have a beautiful clothes and suddenly you sort of stand. I'm sure even though you're having a big meal, a nice meal, you go to excuse me, you go to the restroom first and wash it and do it, right? But if you care about it, you definitely want to remove it. So remove that. So that's the second method. That remove that kind because you are upset because of physical pain makes you unhappy. That unhappy, this kind of, and that unhappy actually you carry a lot of thought comes to you, like, oh, I'm not good, I cannot sit long, or maybe my body is getting weak, or maybe my body is not well, something like that. But I'm sure if you learn the Dharma, we're back to the second state about when you always listen to the Dharma always tell you the body is like that. Sometimes you can be good, sometimes you cannot be good because our body and with the mind, when they are together with a lot of conditions, weather, your mood, everything, your body change all the time. All right? Actually, it's telling you also not to attach on that. So, get it? Do I get a picture? Okay, right. So that's the second. What is the third? Yeah.
Third, ignore.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this is at least, especially when you have experience. Like, I said that I also have pain, but usually pain doesn't disturb me. It disturbs me some other thing, okay? So, but let's say the pain comes, I will just ignore it. Like, just like, so the simulus is just like ignore the light and ignore the color, right? And then when it doesn't work, then you know that your mind still carry away or obsessed, with that, then you must know, let it. You're thinking about it, no problem. Just very slow. Just don't make it like thinking a lot quickly. This and So this is how you get the pressure. You get this like anxiety and agitation. But if you let it slow down, just think, okay, make me like they just let it slow down. So, right. Okay. Not easy. Of course, now I know it's very easy. When you meditate, that time you forget everything already. But still, please know at least you learn a good guidance there. Yeah, if you always remember, almost like you find there's another kind of fun you're doing. When even your meditation, it's not just like what I want. It's actually a lot of fun going on. I can do that. So almost like you are playing a game that you have many tools now. You have sword, you have gun, you have protection shield, kind of thing like that. Yes.
So just curious, you have different tricks to situation.
Yes.
Like the example of the young man Alan,
Mm.
thinking of the beautiful girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
It's all right. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Whatever you say is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So when there is like the Thai Theravada, they talk about the switching into examining the decaying corpse.
Yeah, that's another that's okay. I know what you mean. Yes, and
So
yeah, the Asubha Bhavana that's called. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you cannot go to the charnel ground, right, to actually
To observe that. Yeah.
observe
Mm.
that, so does he then just like run through the something that is listed out? Is there like a formula?
So, actually, it's like this. My understanding is when you are go to China or even when the people, they have a two way of practice the Asubha Bhavana. Not only two way, there are many. One is called what we call the visualization way. Okay, I'm just saying in general, so that you never seen a real corpse. You just picture there's a corpse, and the corpse will be eroded, right? Deteriorated and become and so forth. So that you sometimes they translate kind of like repulsive. Then you feel that repulsive towards that the beautiful figures, right? Because by understanding actually ultimately this figure will come to that way. That's called Asubha Bhavana. Generally means a meditation on the impureness. That's how they translate. Okay.
Impurity.
Yeah, because the corpse is impure. Meditate on pureness. By developing the meditation on impureness, you develop the pure mind. That's right. Okay. Okay. That's actually as a method. It's not linked to the topic we're saying that working with the mind. That only linked to when you go to see a teacher, the teacher instruct you this method, right? And then you understand the nature of practice and why you want to practice, and maybe why the practice is good for you and so forth. That's why you listen to the Dharma, right? And then when you're doing meditation, you might be contemplating the object of like the corpse, for example. I just take this as one example. And then if you meditate on corpse, but somehow your mind sometimes goes away. In a subtle way, not on when you just start. Well, you're quite focused already, but there's a slight, you have somehow skillful in your focus, but they are not complete really in the jhana or really stable. Then you have a little thought comes around you. So then that's the 5 way we're addressing this issue. Okay. Did I make it clear? I'm not sure. Just like if you practice loving kindness, you go to teacher, learn the loving kindness meditation, and then while you're doing it, you're doing okay, fine. But even though you're doing all right, or you're almost, sometimes there's a light, sometimes maybe no light, but still there's something around. We are talking this issue. With any type of meditation method, but then you still have this issue. Usually what people do if they don't learn this tiny thing, of course you just have to wait, right? Okay, sometimes I'm doing good, sometimes I don't do good, this and that. But if you learn this tiny thing, what we call how you make your mind to be, how you upgrade your mind, somehow like that. How you upgrade your mind, maybe in modern term like that. Attachita actually means somehow like how you upgrade your mind. If you learn how to upgrade, kind of upgrade, in the modern term. In old days, you don't have this word, you have to understand. So kind of like if you learn how to upgrade your mind, then you can solve the problem actually more clearly also, why you can solve the problem. If you think about it, sometimes even when you meditation doing in a very subtle way, you do solve the problem in what we just said by the Buddha, but now this is have a more systematical way to put that topic out, Yes, yeah.
There's a systematic tactics.
Yeah.
It's more tactical to.
Yes, yeah. But it's not from me, okay, from the sutta. This is one reason actually I really like Buddha also, because he gives the instruction sometimes. If you know what he was talking about, it's very clear. Yeah. Okay. All right. If you have question, one more question. If no question, I will let you to have a break. You make a choice. No question? Okay. Okay. No, I didn't say 不能 ignore. Ignore. This is called obsessed. This is called obsessed. Make it. You need to listen more Dhamma. I didn't say you can see the light or not see. You cannot see the light, you know. But just when you do the correct way of meditation, so you just ignore the light.
Okay. Got it.
Maybe easier to give you one simile because since come to my mind, when say that a newborn baby never see a light, okay. Somehow I don't know why. Okay, this is not our question. So one day you bring him to a place that with a light full of the picture, full of the wonderful toys. Okay, your purpose is ask kids to come to play the toys, right? In that, without the light, he cannot see the toys. He cannot play with the toys, right? But if he just the toys is there. Mom, why is the light sometimes so bright? Is that clear? Yeah. Pictures? Okay. So I didn't say that you cannot look at the light, but if you some look at it, there, no. Yeah, you cannot stop the kid look at the light, but he cannot like that. Okay, yes. What you want to say? I said that's called obsessed. You still think. Even you look, it's fine. I'm not saying no at all, but you don't. Okay, the dancing party. I know the dancing party they have. What do you call it? What do you call? Disco light. You know? No. I knew. The dancing is all there. You just. Okay, but it's not that you don't know it's there. Okay. Okay. All right. So thanks for attention. So have about I guess give you about 20 minutes break. We need to meditate because I need your energy to meditate to the boundless. Try it for the first time. You cannot manage, but at least you have some experience. Okay. We come back to do the boundless meditation. So give you 20 minutes for the break. Yeah. So.